Welcome back to the show. When the rest of the world tells you it's time to buy XRP, you know something big is about to go down. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.77 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 3.8, but we know that we are bleeding heavily. We were over $4 trillion early last week. And here we are at 3.77. What gives? Well, I'll tell you, we're in that August recess for Congress. We know tariffs have been coming in, and that has hit the markets a little bit across the board. So there's a lot happening here. We didn't get the interest rate cut that we were looking for. So August, September may be a little bit of a trench for us, right? But we still have a lot of good things in front of us. We know we're waiting for ETF approvals, the SEC case to end, the Clarity Act to pass, hopefully by end of September, early October. So there's a lot in front of us, and I know even more that I haven't mentioned. So we have a window in front of us that may look at first glance like this market is dead and that bull run is over. But I tell you, I don't believe that that's the case personally for myself here. Now, we see 113,000 plus for Bitcoin, 3,400 plus for Ethereum. We see XRP number 3 spot is $2.88. We're off 2.2 on the 24 and off 10.2% on the 7-day. Look at the range of price right here. And by the way, dipped all the way down to 274. And you know what? I caught that dip. I'm telling you, I'm very, very happy about that. We got that dip. And pretty soon I'll tell you how I was able to get that dip. And you're going to want to get it the same way. Right now, ranging between $2.74 and $2.95. We sit at $2.88. We'll keep an eye on it. What I do want to tell you about very quickly is your opportunity to open up an account on a very, very safe and secure exchange. This is Caleb & Brown Crypto Brokerage. And let me just tell you, they have multiple layers of security, as anyone would expect. No hidden fees, no spreads, free institutional grade custody, and one flat trading fee. That's what they have. Now, let me tell you, some people say, well, their flat trading fee is just a little higher than I've found in other places. And I say, yes, that's right. And you know why? Because so is their human white glove customer service that you cannot find anywhere else on the planet in the digital asset space. This is bar none a fact. And I'm telling you, when you get to the fact of like a bull cycle and the exchanges freeze up around the world, you've already set your market orders correctly because you spoke to your prime broker directly. You don't have to worry about that happening to you. Or what about the fact that you could set up extra restrictions on your account, which already has multiple layers of security, but you could add extra restrictions because you have a personal prime broker rep. And you could put those personal restrictions on your account to make sure that if you ever mess up on your end and get hacked, that you're still safe because of the measures that you put in place. I tell you one thing. Let me just share this very quickly with you because this is a very real experience for me. I was hacked in 2023 and everything was gone, lost out of my control for days. I was terrified, wanting to know how to deal with all of this. But you know what? At that time, I didn't have Caleb & Brown. Had I had Caleb & Brown, I could have gone and done a Zoom call directly with my rep. And we could have made sure immediately that we had locked down that account. But I wasn't even at Caleb & Brown at the time. And let me tell you something. Do you think I wanted to pay that flat fee to put myself there? You better bet I did. Because I tell you what, ask yourself if you lost everything in a SIM swap. Ask yourself if you lost everything because you missed a chance to get the opportunity because you were on an exchange that froze up and you got a 6 weeks queue for your emails that you send in. This is what I'm saying. Ask yourself, what is the level of service that you require when this market moves at a rapid pace? This is why I tell you, go to xrpwealth589.com and open your free account today, just like the AI and myself did. You're going to love it. You're going to love the experience. There's no question about it. Let's take a look at this very quickly here. 700 million XRP locked by Ripple back in escrow. We know how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. First of the month. So you take out operating expenses and then a little bit to incentivize the network and partners on the network. and back the rest of it goes in a contract in escrow. So there we have that. And that proves that Ripple is an excellent steward of the XRP escrow. When the rest of the world starts telling us, all of us, to buy XRP, you know we're close to something big, and here it is. Shout out to Riz. Are we giving Riz a follow? Because you need to. USA Today has over 144 million monthly visitors and connections to over 200 communities. And they just put out a title to US Today that says XRP is the smartest cryptocurrency to buy with $500 right now. You know, we've often made the joke here that, like, if you're at the grocery store, Walmart, or shopping in the mall or whatever, and you're going to cash out, and some stranger turns around and starts telling you you need to buy crypto, that's how we know we're at that place where we're about to be able to cash out a little bit, you know, or maybe never cash out and get a yield, which would be the holy grail, we all know, right? So the reality is we are getting very close, because this is one of those moments. There's no question about it. The XRP ledger is emerging as a key player in the global stablecoin ecosystem, with fresh data showing a surge in activity tied to the Brazilian real-backed tokens. Now, this is where I remind everybody that this is what we want to see, the proliferation of global stablecoins on the XRP ledger. We know Singapore, Brazil, we know a couple of them launched in Europe. We know that we have a couple U.S. stablecoins on the network and others, right? And this is very important, because these are the vehicles that will begin to make pairings. And we need the 190, 200 plus nations, whatever that number is now, all represented with their money and digital tokens on the network, on the XRP ledger, which becomes the highway for all of these things to make pairings. And then that's when you start getting into the XRP long tail pairings as well. So super exciting what's coming. Marcus and Fanger says here, or Infinger, excuse me, Marcus, if I've messed that up, but we're grateful for all the work you do. He says tokenization will unlock $18.9 trillion in value by 2033, with the XRP ledger playing a central role. Now, I understand what he's saying here. He says that the tokenization will unlock $18.9 trillion by 2033, with the XRP ledger playing a central role in that $18.9 trillion of tokenization. Now, he highlights here also Ripple's real estate deal with Dubai Land Department shows how XRP ledger cuts costs and removes bureaucracy from that whole titling and ownership process. So if we're looking at all of this, I say to myself, wow, this is super exciting. We've also heard other predictions about huge unlocks by 2030. So this is incredible. I remind everybody, as I believe Marcus Infinger is doing here indirectly, that Ripple has set up not only custody, but also the ability to tokenize everyone from the legacy side of the fence into this new digital on-chain economy. And there is going to be a huge, huge windfall for anyone doing tokenization like Ripple's going to be doing. Because what we're doing is tokenizing the rest of the world. So anyone helping get that job done is going to benefit the protocol by default. So XRP set to also anchor treasury strategies. And another company, Hyperscale Data, evaluates a long-term hold plan. This is yet another company joining the XRP treasury strategy here, which is basically saying this is a micro-strategy model, right? That they're using the asset to support the value of the company because they believe the asset is going to grow in value, as they explain here, by even suggesting they only took a position of $10 million in XRP at the moment, but also explain that looking long term, they may expand that offering and bring the XRP level up beyond the 10 million that they've already taken a position in. But I say to you a couple things here. One, let's remember that 8 companies already have taken $1 billion worth of XRP off the market by putting it in their corporate treasury. Now, this is another one. Now, here's what I'll say. The real cool thing is that current Ripple does not count the XRP in escrow on its balance sheet. Well, isn't that interesting? Because I believe at some point we may see something like that happen. And then the valuation of Ripple goes through the roof, right? And then that could set up the largest IPO in the world. And what would be a better calling card to really let the world know how we're changing and what is coming than announcing the largest IPO in the world for Ripple at some point in the future, because I believe that does happen. You know, I covered this yesterday, but I need to highlight it again because of what we're going to touch on the way out of here, which is this. Christian Carlo, shout out to you, Chris. Oh my goodness, this guy's so smart in this space and a wonderful human being. In a few years, in a wake of Project Crypto, every new issue of securities, equities, debt, government will either be tokenized and on-chain or will trade at a substantial discount to those that are extraordinary policy, vision, and leadership from the regulators. Yes, this is exactly right. It's exactly what we've talked about. And you know what? And just a few days ago, July 28th, just a few days ago, 5 days ago, what did we see? Dom and Phil Kwok from EZA on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange being interviewed, and Phil drops this. All of this that you're seeing will be crypto. Daddy's home. Yeah. God, I love the energy of these guys. And then I took the picture of them two on the New York Stock Exchange. They had to understand these guys here are absolutely Ivy League, super sharp, super smart, hardest working entrepreneurs I've ever come across. All of Wall Street will be tokenized. Lock in. Think of this for a moment. Think of it. And then listen to what Dom says. Now, Dom is a very educated man who used to do valuations, I believe, at Goldman Sachs and other places on businesses. He's not coming at this as if he doesn't understand where we're at. And to be perfectly honest, Dom and Phil don't need the attention. They get a lot of attention. He's not saying this for hyper attention. I believe Dom is saying this because it's his true valuation of what he sees in front of us and where the world is going and how it might affect XRP's price.
What they're doing already in terms of bringing all these big institutions. Hidden Road acquisition, for example, is a great example of how they're going to actually be utilizing the XRP ledger in the real world, settling trades, etc., much faster, cheaper than otherwise would be possible. And then obviously also international money payments. All of those different aspects really make it one of the formative companies of the next decade, in our opinion. And I know a lot of people have been asking for my price targets on XRP. And I think this is the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030. So for me, it's a super important project, and actually probably one of the most important projects out there at the moment.
Now that's an incredible, incredible thought that he has decided to share with all of us. Now I'm not just sharing with you because he said $1,000 and then, oh my God, $1,000 by 2030. I'm sharing it because I believe something like this is possible too. And have for years. And at some point, there has to be an inflection point. And I believe that comes in part largely with crypto legislation simply becoming law and signed into law. And this will open the floodgates. Because it isn't about crypto getting bigger. It's just simply about the traditional finance world becoming tokenized. That's the larger part of this puzzle. Crypto itself is a very small piece of the pie. What is the largest part of the pie is traditional finance itself becoming tokenized. And figuring out which companies, which projects and tokens will affect that end result, and trying to figure out how deeply I need to be in each one of those projects and or companies affecting that result. It's just that simple. Not financial advice to me or anyone else, obviously, but it is that simple. And this is the total market capture we're really talking about here. These are the size of the markets that we're really going after. This is what we're getting ready to see take place. That's why Dom and Phil were on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. I don't find these things to be coincidental at my house. And it's not coincidental that Ripple takes another step closer to becoming the Fed 2.0, the new digital on-chain economy, because they got that Ripple National Trust Bank license that they're after. And guess what else? It's not retail facing. Come on in. Egg Rag Crypto dropped this on us, a 6-month time frame update. He says we have 4 months and 29 days left until that 6-month candle currently closes. We will make history by breaking through the chasm of XRP price. Or have we already seen the top? And no one, including me, is not noticing it. I'm still in the camp that the last leg is coming, and it's going to be epic. Here's what the numbers say. A non-logarithmic scale measured move would take us to $4.89, where a logarithmic scale measured move would take us to $48.90. And it's at this point, I'm pretty sure I know which one all of you are wanting to happen. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. That's a staggering 10 times difference between the non-logarithmic and logarithmic scale, as he highlights here. As you know, he says, I'm all about the average approach. So the average of these two targets is, in fact, $27, which we've all heard about so much. Take it or leave it. He said, it's not my job to tell you what to do. I'm just here to show you what the patterns are revealing. And boy, are we grateful for that, and him and you, all of you that listen every day. Listen, it's not lost on me that you guys allow me into your daily lives and routines, and I just want to say thank you. We've been on this journey for a long time, and I really am thankful. And I'm grateful for all of you. And I mean that, not only that you listen and support the channel, but I mean that because I can't imagine actually being on this journey by myself. Wow, that would suck. I'm glad we're all here. Listen, happy Sunday to each and every one of you. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you at $48.90.